Okay, I am creating a video on the major writing assignment 3. We have to create a video going over each of your items in the binder provided to you for each assignment in the binder. Number 1, detail each item and walk through how you completed it. So, for the first assignment, we had, let's go in order. It was a reading the complexity of identity, who am I? So we had to annotate this reading. And how I completed this, the instructions were to read the paper, and I circled definitions or not definitions, I circled terms that I didn't know. I circled things that were important, that I thought was important. I put little notes on the side of sentences that I read, and then I put like my own definition or my understanding to the side of it. I circled questions, like for example, it says, who am I now? Who was I before? Who will I become? I feel like that was important because the whole essay is like a reflection of who am I. They're talking about who am I. Highlight important sentences and something else. What else? Oh, and then evidence of the reading, like citing. I highlighted that. So yeah. And for number 3, it says, discuss why it is relevant to the course. It's important to the course, this assignment, is because this was the first thing that we did, plus the Mbangi. But this is important because it was getting our brains like starting and going, for us to read over this essay, and then just to figure out what we know or what we remember, as far as getting important details out of essays and knowing terms and understanding questions or phrases in writing. So I feel like that's why that was important. And then we did another reading as well. It was the ancient Egypt rhetoric. We had to circle terms that we didn't know. Anything we had questions about, we would jot down, like circle it and put a question mark. I Googled some terms that I didn't know so I could understand what the reading was talking about. Then I just jotted down this to the side. Rhetoric, speaking and communication. What else? For this one, I feel like this summer was mainly just to learn about rhetoric and where it came from, and definitely the terms for me. Like, I struggle with knowing different terms for real. And then the reference page confused me. Like, we didn't know. I knew what it was, but I didn't know like the details of it, like actually citing. So yeah, we learned about that. This reading. I'll put it back in order. Okay. And then I have little notes that I created. Rhetoric and composition. Oh, that was for the Mbangi. These are my notes. I put Mbangi, understanding what Mbangi is, understanding rhetoric and composition, going over communication models and understanding sender, receiver, message, and noise, distractions, rhetoric triangle, logos, ethos, pathos. And for number 2, media literacy and social media Mbangi. That is over communication model and rhetoric triangle, how it's used throughout social media. How it is used, it's used in the rhetoric triangle is through social media content, likes, shares, comments, and then I put a little arrow to like the step-by-step tutorials on TikTok. I feel like that's like within the rhetoric triangle. Number 3, sorry, business rhetoric. We created a resume. We learned MLA formatting, APA formatting, the NAMUL questions. That was important. And then the 4th Mbangi was psychological rhetoric. And this is our little welcome packet. It has the syllabus in here. We talk about rhetoric and composition, Bloom's taxonomy, learning goals. What else is in here? Oh, Mbangi sessions. Going through it really quick. We cover why we have Mbangis is to complete weekly. And what else? Sorry, I'm trying to go through this really quick. I know my video is gonna be super long. Why? Oh no, not why, but it in this class we cover academics and research. What else? Writer, educator, tech, health. Oh, this talks about Jordan Wiggins, our professor. So this is our little welcome packet. Yeah. And to go over the course competencies and learning outcome, basically we went over writing analysis and practice. We revised papers. We did research. What else? It says company competencies / critical competencies. In order for a student to receive course credit, the final weighted average of all course assessments must be 70%. However, failure to demonstrate achievement of any critical competencies by the end of a semester will result in a grade of F. But that's not what I was looking for. Oh, course description. Okay, the course description, it says, explore the analysis of literature and articles about issues of humanities and in society. Students practice various modes of writing, ranging from exposition to argumentation and persuasion. The course includes a review of standard grammatical and stylistic style, basically, usage in proofreading and editing. An introduction to library resources lays the foundation for research. Topics include writing, analysis and practice, revision, and research. Students write a research paper using library resources and using a formatting and documentation style appropriate to the purpose and audience. So that's the course description. And the course description is basically just everything we have learned and everything we have done, everything we needed to do in this class. So that's the purpose of the course description. Why it is important? It's important because we need to learn these things so we can think critically and so we can build our pathway to our program or in our field. Like, cause before I had this class, like I didn't know how to critically think. I guess it's like a level up. Like, it's not K through 12 learning. It's like more advanced of learning. Okay, so the next thing that I want to go over is the rhetoric, composition, and Imbongi. Here's the Imbongi. And we had to do research on, oh no, why we had this in Imbongi. Let me go over that. You must understand why you are taking this course and its relevance to your major. You must also understand why this course is relevant outside of academics. So I do understand why we took the class. It's like to advance our oh yeah, it's to answer this question, um discuss what you have learned. And then here it says you must understand why you are taking this course and its relevance to your major. Okay, this course is relevant to my major because I am doing, well, my major is diagnostic medical sonography. So I needed this class in my pathway because it helps me understand writing. It helps, like, I have to understand when I'm reading research, like when someone is trying to, I guess, persuade me, I'm supposed to know it. Um and but just because it's for good practice, you must understand why this course is relevant outside of academics. It's relevant outside of academics because, for one, we learned about like this first in Bungie, it taught us what a learning circle, well, how to be in a learning circle and what it is. We learned communication models. Another term we had to do was Dunning-Kruger effects. We learned about Toni Morrison, and then we had to write information of the history of rhetoric, like where it all started. So we got to learn where it all started first, and then understand how it is now, like a comparison, I guess. So yeah. And to quickly go over this in Bongi, the first one, rhetoric and composition. Ibangi is a learning circle or a community coming together. It refers to a tradition, inclusive gathering space where community members collaborate to we solve challenges, share knowledge, and build relationships. So that's what we did within this class. Communication models, just basically understanding the sender message channel, which is our phone or technology, and receiver, like sending messages back and forth, how the cycle works. Dunning-Kruger effect, I draw the brain. It's just like the functioning of it. And I put error in thinking that affects how people perceive, interpret, and remember. It's where people with limited knowledge or competency in a specific area greatly overestimate their, I say overstimulate. I mean overestimate their own expertise because they lack the skills to evaluate their own performance. They fail to recognize their mistakes. So that's just going over a few definitions. Then we learned about Toni Morrison. She was a female born February 18th, died August 5th, 2019. She was a novelist. And yeah. We learned about Reddit. And then for my little paragraph, I put the terms were assigned to us because we will have to gather notes and information for upcoming research paper. The assignment is to help us think critically and about rhetoric and about the rhetoric of history. The items align with the topic because it's the history of writers and where or what inspired them, and it's about the knowledge and the different skills that they were open to and what they learned. And it's like, again, I said it's kind of like a comparison, because things are different now. Times have changed. What else? Oh, your claims by citing and paraphrasing the course in course description. Yeah, the course description and the course competencies, they all align because we are advancing our knowledge in the lectures and what you teach us, and doing research and learning about the history and learning about like comparing it to now, like of what we learned. I hope that makes sense, or I hope I'm making it make sense. Okay, the next thing in my binder is media literacy and social media. In Bongi, we went over the rhetoric triangle, the communication model, and the this dog image. It is the was it the peril dog exercise we did in class. But this in Bongi was like we had to, it say why it was given to us because we must analyze. We must analyze media before creating it. You must be media literate before you can critically analyze media. You must accept the importance of media literacy before becoming media literate. And then we had to do research. We had to phrase and write down findings. We had to draw models. I'm not gonna lie, like drawing models, they do help me better. I have to like see the picture. So Google definitely helped me. Like that's where I cited all of my information before I properly knew how to cite or do like a reference page correctly. But in this Imbongi, we did ethos, pathos, logos. We learned about Dr. Dakota Tyler. We did research on him. Present bias, appeal to pathos and logical fallacies, and then Neil Oneman. So we had to fill this little chart out. We learned how to do that. This our triangle was based off of social media. So ethos at the top, at pathos in the left hand corner, and then logos in the right hand corner. And then I put social media for credibility and trust is based off of content, earning verified check marks, testimonies, and then it's like it's the speaker or the writer. So for pathos, it's based off of emotion and connection. We learned like that's the likes, shares, comments, storytelling, emojis. It's the audience to feel personally connected to the message. That is the topic or the issue. And I put the overall triangle it is the purpose for the message or the thesis. And then in the right hand corner, logos is logic and reason. That is like the step-by-step tutorials. And then I put for an example for me to understand or remember the get ready with me or the side-by-side comparison. And that is like the audience. So learned that, and then what oh, our little chart. This is the communication model, the sender, message, receiver, and feedback. So the sender sends the message is the arrow, and then the receiver gets the message, and once the receiver gets the message, they send a message back. So when they send the message back, I guess that's considered feedback. So the feedback goes back and forth. You send messages back and forth. That's how I understood it. And then I put that's what we was learning about in encoding and decoding. And then for encoding, I put like a little message or like a example. I put stay active and healthy. And then for encoding, I put fitness pictures, motivational videos. And the decoding is the audience like when they receive it, like when they see it, the what's it called, interpretation. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's how they receive the message and what they think of it. And what I learned from this Mbangi, specifically the communication models, like when you're sending a message to somebody, like you don't know how they're going to take the message. You don't know like what they're gonna like what feedback they're gonna get from it. Because I could send a message to someone and be like, like for example, I could say, hey, let's get a dog. Or I can text my grandma and I can say, hey, let's get a dog. And then she gonna be like it's so many like different ways. It's like she could think of my message, if that makes sense. So that's what I learned from it. Like you can't tell nobody how to respond to a message that you send to them, because everybody have different perspective, different ways of thinking and giving their feedback, if that makes sense. Oh, and another thing, present bias. That was one thing that I um learned. I put, for example, hitting the snooze button instead of waking up from an early morning workout. So that was considered health. Um, and then present bias, for the definition I put, is the psychological tendencies to disproportionately favor immediate rewards over larger delayed rewards. And I put prioritizing instant long-term benefits. Okay, and the next thing we did was our identity maps. We used Miro.com. I did not like using Miro, but we just had to do it for a grade. I'm gonna learn eventually on down the road, because I think I'm gonna be using that the Miro website in the future. But for now, I did a little map. It has my name, my race, my career and aspirations, relief system. So I just put that. I put my name, Tarkerian Harris. I put my race, Black African American. I put my career, aspirations. I put diagnostic medical sonography. And I put first graduate grandchild from college soon. And then I put my job. I work at Amazon Packer. And you can just put little things that describe you: hard worker, leader, team player. And then I put where I live, Athens, Georgia. What is it? Oh, community and place. I grew up in a church, went to church every Sunday when I was growing up. And then what else? Oh, education, high school graduate, first generation college student, strong in math. I love math. Don't really like English, but hey, it's okay. I'm a visual learner. I'm definitely an overthinker and need extra time for assignments. That's what I just put. I'm a quiet person. I'm independent. I'm honest. And then I put faith, hard worker, and loyal. That's what I put. I feel like this assignment was important because it just reflect on you and understanding you. Like, don't forget. I think maybe this was assigned to us because like, so we won't forget ourselves, I guess. But I don't know. I like this assignment. It was cool to do. Okay, so the next assignments was in my binder. We did the media literacy activity, evaluating social media. So, the goals for the media literacy activity, we were to remember, understand, applying, analyzing, evaluate, and creating. So we have to recall definition and examples of ethos, pathos, logos, creator credentials, and types of misinformation. We have to explain radical appeals and credibility functions within specific social media. This was fun to do. I like this activity. What else? Our students must apply radical framework, ethos, pathos, logos, and basic research skills to analyze non-traditional text like TikTok, Instagram videos, evaluate and creating. So boom. We had this list of creators, and at the time we had to choose 3. We had to narrow down the number. So the 3 people that I chose was Dr. Dakota Taylor. I did Nix Young's life and Jacorit 1. So that's what I chose them 3. That was fun to do. And then we had to get in groups. Oh, the next assignment was our evaluation part. We had to get in groups. And then we had to choose one creator, and then we had to choose one video of like something that stood out to us, something that we liked it and not that we all could agree on. It says students will independently review 3 videos from their assigned creators account. They will fill out the chart below. Okay, so my group, we decided to go with Nix Young's life. We did a video. Just filling this chart out myself. I chose 3 videos from him that I liked it. It was on TikTok and Instagram. Where preacher says he's embarrassed to use the term Christian. All things work together. He's a licensed therapy, explains why Black people avoid therapy, and all things work together for the good. And we narrowed it down, and we chose because he was a licensed therapist. He explained why Black people avoid therapy, and that stood out to all of us. Even Jake. Jake is not Black, but he liked the topic because with him not being Black, he could relate to like not going to therapy, like even though he wasn't Black. So I felt like that was cool. Yeah. I feel like this assignment was relevant because we needed to learn how to work in groups and like learn how to come together. We came together and chose one topic, and I feel like our video was really good. Everybody put in the work. That leads up to the next assignment, the step 3, the group expansion and presentation. We had to introduce the creator, the video title. We had to summarize the credentials, and everybody had their own part of authorship and purpose, content, as well as economics, techniques and format and interpretation, and what else? Oh, responses and credibility. So everybody had to do their section, and then we had questions on the back. It's kind of hard to see. Had questions on the back to answer. We had to answer 2 questions and then give examples and explain each section. So that was good. Analyzing media experience. Media literacy requires us to actively consider all our media experiences, from scrolling social media to watching news and at the dentist office. The terms media experiences accounts for both the media text. Sorry, it's really hard to see this. I didn't take my contacts out, so my eyes are kind of irritated. But yeah, this was good. We had to analyze media experiences. So that was good. Oh, and I forgot, like, how we created this. We everybody had their own part, but we went to like Google and did research on his TikTok, like just watch videos of what he really talks about, what he explains. And then what I found was the lack of trust in mental health systems. He has a website, link in his bio is www.psychologytoday.com. And it's basically like, it's just like a link for anybody with mental health or just need resources in general. Like, it has a lot of information on that website. But a lot of Black people, like, they fear of judgment. They because therapy is expensive. Black people feel like they don't need therapy, or it's just like a lack. People feel like it basically is, in this generation, it's a handle it yourself or figure it out kind of culture. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lack of trust in mental health. So that's why we really chose the assignment. And then this assignment has helped me grow because, like, a lot of people, like, before they get in college and like necessarily take this class, like, I never thought about evaluating social media. Like, I just get on it. Sometimes I love TikTok, but I get on it and I just scroll. Like, I like, it's analyzing it, yeah, but this is just like going into detail on analyzing social media and like having knowledge in it, like being credible, I guess. So yeah, these are my notes. We took notes and did research on Nick Young's life and therapy, mental health, and all that, and the history of is it schizophrenia? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. We found some research about that too. So the next assignment in my binder is the description assignment. We had to create an essay. We had to define positionality and the theory of intersectionality. And then we had to define Kimbrielle Crenshaw. So we put lived experiences. We did introduction, we had to create an introduction, live experiences, and what else we did? We had to explain how we could I think relate to Kimbrielle Crenshaw. We used our lived experiences and our identities. And the description assignment, it was good to do because I'm gonna say it was challenging, but at first, like, I didn't know how to properly format. So I learned how to do that. That was good for this assignment. And like, I learned to put what is it? Like, quotations from readings into my writing properly. Like what is it called? Not plagiarize. We learned about that in our writing. Okay, just going through this, trying to go through this quickly. But the next assignment that we had in our binder is the business rhetoric in Bongi. There we go. And why we had this in Bongi, it says you will examine how rhetoric, whether in writing, verbal, or visual forms, can perpetuate or challenge biases in the workplace and beyond. You will explore the subtle and powerful ways bias shape interactions, policies, and organizational culture. I can't read. While also considering strategies for identifying and addressing these issues by analyzing the role of rhetoric in shaping narratives and decision-making processes. You will be equipped with the critical thinking skills needed to navigate and influence professional environments ethically and effectively. Okay. Okay, so we had to create a resume, develop a resume and bring it to class. I'm glad we did that because my resume sucked before I knew how to make a professional one. We brought our resumes, we circled do's and don'ts on what to have in the resume. We took out our personal information, our personal emails, and some other stuff I can't think off the top of my head. And in this Bongi, we learned about Namuel key questions, authors and audience, authorship, who made this, who was and why. Wait, who was and was not involved in the creation of this? Purpose is why was this made? What does this want? I cannot read. I'm sorry. Purposes. Why was this made? Number 2, what does this want me to do? What does this want me to do? I don't know. That doesn't kind of sound right. Who is the target audience? That's what I should have said. And then message and meaning for content is what does this want me to think for or think about? And then another one is what could someone learn from this meaning or message in the content? Techniques and formats in message and meaning. How does this format or method of communication impact my experience with the media? And then number 2, where or why was it shaped with the public? So those are good questions to ask when you are basically can't think about writing. Like when you are evaluating media. Those are good questions to ask yourself. And then this is like a little guide for resumes. You create the resume, you submit resumes, and it goes through AI screening, and then the AI screening rejects the resumes, and you just go through all these interviews, and it's for nothing. That's even if you get an interview. We got information about business letter format, sender's address, your address or contact, introduction, body, and then closing. Okay. Oh, type of unconscious bias. That's on here too. Oh, am I going the wrong way? What's up? Then we had a little reading in the back. And then MLA formatting. We learned that. Oh, general formatting and text citation, and then works cited. We learned those 3 things. MLA header. You put your name, your professor's name, your course, and then the date. But on the date, you put the day, month, and then year. Don't put day, year. Don't put month, year. I cannot think. Do not put month, day, and year. And then with the APA formatting, we learned about that. How to do a reference list. Citation, and then narrative citation. So that's the name of the person and then the year like it was created. And then the reference list entry, you put their name, the year in parentheses that it was made, and then I put the title and then the website at the bottom. And I put the date too. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, but I put the date. Oh no, you probably, I do it wrong then. I don't need to put the date because you put the year in parentheses. So, yep, we learned that, and I feel like this was good to learn. I feel like how does it help you grow? This has helped me grow because I learned how to send emails correctly to professors, because before I would email a professor and I wouldn't put the title in the subject line. I would just write a million emails when you don't got to do all that. You just put what you're talking about in the subject line real quick, and then you just say what you need to say in full, so you won't be sending emails, a whole bunch of emails for no reason. So I learned about sending correctly clear emails to professors. I know how to format. And yeah, that's what I learned in this in Bongi. And then we had terms to go over in this Mbongi. We'll research Abby Dua. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Chevron deference. We didn't have a term, it's just a question. When were women allowed to open bank accounts in the United States without a man involved? The dark trade. Webb DuBose, double consciousness. Octavia Butler and Pabrell of the Sower. Future of Jobs and Artificial Intelligence. Harvard IAT test. Redlining. We learned about the rise of I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, we learned about that. And then the Mallows herrings. I hope I pronounced that right. resume bias by humans, and bias. And then some of the terms we went over or that we had to research that I feel was relevant in this Mbongi. All of them are relevant, but the main ones are um, Kimball Crenshaw. She was an American legal scholar, professor, and civil rights advocate, best known for developing the concept of intersectionality in 1989. Black African American woman, and then the implicit bias refers to attitudes, stereotypes, or assumptions that people hold unconsciously. Um, these bias can introduce how we think about and treat others, even when we believe we are being fair or unbiased. Um, what else? Oh, eclipse bias is a conscious attitude, belief, or prejudice towards a person or group. Unlike impact bias, eclipse bias is international or something a person is aware of. And then resume bias by humans refers to unconscious shortcuts or prejudged judgments recruiters make when evaluating job applications, driven by factors. Um, okay, say like names, education, and gaps in employment. And then they use bias AI resume reading tools are facing severe cruelty for unintentionally um, replicating and often amplifying Semitical discrimination. All them big words. I got this from Google, but basically it's saying like they're facing like it's trouble for businesses, and like AI tools is treating resumes like they're kicking them out. It's like it shows measurable bias. Um and then it says fundamentally changing how job seekers must navigate to modern living landscape. So I feel like this is relevant to um, this Mbongi. I feel like it's relevant to this course because like we are learning about um, bias ways in the world. Like we have to everybody have to work, everybody have to have a job, and it's just I feel like it's harder for people now to even get a job because um, jobs have AI tools, like they're linked in with AI. So we have to know how to properly format. Um, we have to know how to strongly communicate and just know how to. We have to know when something is biased. I feel like so. This was helpful. Okay, and the next thing in the binder is our chart that we completed. We had to put our name, what school we went to, the people who raised us, and then what media we have. Uh, I put my name. I put I was raised by all women. I have TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, but I really don't get on Instagram and Facebook. I use TikTok. Um, I put where I came from. I was born in Athens, Georgia. I mainly lived like in low income. I wouldn't say low income, like I guess middle class. Like we struggled, but I barely even knew we struggled. That's how good of a life, I kind of had. And then we did attitudes of culture, macro system, and chronos system. So this chart was something that we had to learn and do. It is the system of theory that describes children's development as occurring within a series of linking systems, identifies 5 systems around children and younger people's lives, which all influence each other in complex ways. We will consider the relevance of these different systems of teaching and learning. The 5 steps are as follow: microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, chronosystem. Yeah. And I'm gonna go back in the end. I'm gonna explain how I have grown with learning all the bungies and all the assignments we created, and then why it's relevant to the mission of the school, and what else, and the rest of the questions. So we're gonna move on to the next Imbangi that's in the binder. So for this Imbangi is psychological rhetorics. I have 2 of the psychological rhetorics. So the first one I did receive, but everybody else didn't receive it because I don't know, we was just talking in class, and I believe that the professor forgot to give out the Imbangi, but I have 2, and this one says why psychological rhetorics. It explains how language and persuasion intersects with psychological theories and behaviors to shape human interactions and understanding. You will explore how radical strategies are employed to influence perception, thoughts, and action, both consensuously, okay, and unconsensually. I hope I pronounced it right. By analyzing the dynamics of persuasion, self-awareness, and interpersonal communications, students will uncover how psychological concepts are embedded in every rhetoric. The goal is to uh, cultivate an awareness of how rhetoric and psychology intersect to inform critical thinking, ethical decision making, and meaningful engagement with others. And going back to that, rhetoric and psychology intersect. So I'm going to take psychology next semester, fall of 2026. So I feel like this class is relevant to psychology. That's what I'm going to have to take next semester. So it's just like the pathway. And then in this Imbangi, we had to formate, we had to do in-text citations. And some terms that stood out to me: gaslighting. We learned about id, ego, and superego. Mallow's heresies, however you pronounce it. And why can't farmers replant their own seeds? I was like, huh? What? But here's a little part. Here's my little part. And it says ego, mediator between ID and reality. ID is it got the little demon face. I want to eat all the cookies now, and then you have the cookies in the middle, and then you have the super ego, the little angel, more conscious and ideal. I will feel guilty for eating the cookies. So it's just like a little balance, like good, bad, or not even good, bad, just like yeah, good or bad. The basic idea is that the ID or ID or id and super ego must satisfied. So your ego attempts to fill the needs of both by compromising with them. So when the scale is out of balance and the id or ID and super ego has a conflict, it is the ego that must try to mediate between the two and find some sort of common. So for id or ID, I put I want it now in quotation marks. And then I put eat the whole cake. And then for ego, I put what's the realistic choice, reason, and decision making. And then example, I put I'll have a small piece of I'll have a small piece after dinner. So that was the example that I put. I actually got this from Google. And then super ego, I put what's the right thing to do, morals and values. And then for an example, I put don't eat it. You should stick to your diet. And then I put the ego helps you make the decision that is balanced. So that's that one. And then for the label and cite your source AP. And then I put Mallows, and then I put 1943 in parentheses. And then I put here's my little chart that I'm talking about. Mallows, heresies, if I'm pronouncing that right. So at the bottom, it's like the need. You need food, water, sleep, shelter, and air. And then the second step is safety needs. You need security, health, employment, and stable housing. For 3, I put love and belonging. You need family, friends, relationships. You need your feelings accepted. And then for number 4, I put extend needs. I put confidence, respect, achievement, recognition. And then self-authorization, I put reaching your full potential, personal growth, and creativity. So, and I found that on Google too. But when I went to Google and I clicked on a link, because I couldn't find like the chart to fill out, I clicked on the link and then it was like the mellowsherence.com or something like that. But I put in the parentheses to cite it Maslow 1943. And then you have this chart. Is that upside down? I have this. Okay, so again, the communication model, cite your source in APA formatting, which is, or either this is the text formatting that I did. In parentheses, I put OpenStax, and it was made in 2020. So for my circle, we had to use sender, receiver, message, noise, encoding, decoding, and feedback. So for the sender sends the message. So it's sender in the circle, and then message is the arrow. And then decoding is the receiver, because the receiver interprets the message, and then the receiver sends a message back. So I put feedback on the arrow that's going back to the sender. And then noise is distraction. Noise is like when you send a message and your child's yelling at you or distracting you. Yeah, that's noise right there. So that's what I did for my chart. And then we had to read this in the back, and I think we had to annotate it, like go through it and highlight it and stuff, but I didn't even get a chance to do that. So that was for this one. I don't even think we were supposed to do this one, but I did. And then for the other one, back with this. So this is the same in Bungie, but it was different. Why we needed this in Bungie, basically it's the same thing. The goal is to have awareness of how rhetoric and psychology intersects to inform critical thinking, ethical decision making, and meaningful engagement with others. And then we had to draw an alien. Oh, I forgot my alien. But anyway, I drew two because it was fun. I just wanted to draw one. My other one was better, but we did a my professor, you ended up taking it when we did the group activity at school the other day. But it's cool. Here's my other alien. And then some terms that stood out to me. But the terms on the list is no, I'm gonna read all that. Gaslighting, that's one. Mellows, herence used in nursing. And then another bullet point is being a critical thinker versus being a contrarian. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then who are you is another bullet point. And another bullet point is why can't farmers replant their own seeds? Okay. And then for that one, according to Google.com and Quora.com, a crowd questionnaire platform claims farmers often cannot replant their own seeds due to strict intellectual property laws, patents and utility patents, and legally blinding technology uses agreements for hybrid crops, biological limits cause replanted seeds to yield unpredictable weaker crops. This system requires farmers to buy fresh, commercially treated seeds by planting seasons. I don't know. I really don't even understand it for real. I ain't gonna lie. But like I feel like farmers can't replant their own seeds because it's like a cycle. Like they companies want farmers to continually buy seeds. Like it's like they want to make money. They don't want farmers to make their own. So that's what I feel about that. What else? Who are you? Did I answer that question? I did. It's on my other form. Who are you? I just put my name. I'm a mother. I'm a extrovert. I attend Gwinnett Technical College. In the future, I plan to be a diagnostic medical sonography. I have potential. I'm smart, and so much more. Black African American woman. First graduate college student to be. Soul searching and self discovery, and that's what I put for myself. And what else? So yeah, this Imangi was for us to critically think, know how to do decision making and meaningful engagement with others. And we've been doing that throughout the whole summer. There was something else I wanted to go over. I don't know if you want us to go over every turn, but this Ibangi was based off of id, ego, and super ego. And then the terms, I feel like they're relevant because they like they talk about schizophrenia, religious psychology, Intersectionality, we talked about Kimbrel Crenshaw. 40 acres and a mule was not fully true. According to Specific Fields Orders number 15, written and issued by William Tecna on January 16, 1865, during the American Civil War, it claims based on a real historical policy, but is of what I put. I can't even see that. Of kin simplifies in ways that make it sound like every formerly enslaved person received, and that did not happen. Hopefully that was the fucking correct definition. I got that from Google. So yeah, this in Bonneville is helpful. Like they talk about, and I feel like back to this in Bonneville real quick. This was relevant and helpful because we're gonna have to take this and we're gonna talk about it again in our. I know we're gonna talk about it in our psychology class because that's my next class that I have to take, and in any nursing field, any healthcare field, you have to know this. So that's relevant and important. And then here we had to write notes mini lesson 1. It is reliable academic resources and sources that are credible, peer reviewed, and produced by experts or reputable institutions. So Gwinnett Technical College, and then you as a professor, you are credible, you are like this is your profession, like you know what you're talking about. So you're not gonna give us like you give us academic knowledge, academic feedback. So that's relevant to the mini lesson 1 and mini lesson 2. So we copy all of the definitions and research. For number 1 is scholarly database. These are the best starting points for academic research. Google Scholar, JSTOR, PubMed, basically just giving us resources. University libraries. So for us, the Galilea. Peer-reviewed journals. That's on the library's link to academic books, government and institutional websites. Like at the end, it has .gov, .edu sites. Provide trustworthy data and reports. Basically, this is just information for us. Like if we ever need to go back to it, like when we're doing a research paper, we have all of our notes. We have this. How to evaluate a source quickly checklist. Use the CRAAP test. So the C stands for currency. Is it up to date? Relevancy. Does it match your topic? Authority stands for A. Is the author qualified? Another A. Accuracy. Is the evidence based? 5. Purpose. Is it unbiased? So that is helpful too. Simple recommendations. If you remember nothing else, start with Google Scholarly plus your school library database and filter for peer-reviewed articles. Credentials, advanced degree, PhD, MED. I said MED, MD, EDD, MA, MS, and etc. Use common knowledge. You don't need citations for widely known undisputed facts. content does matter. Classroom discussions, professors, something as they are considered. Yeah, because like I said, y'all are considered experts on the topics. Academic papers, yes, you're credible in that. Professor reports, usually yes. Citation required, usually no. Because you know what you're talking about. You are the professional in academic writing, academic papers, academic research. So that's what we learned in mini lesson 1 and mini lesson 2. We learned clear evidence. What else? So the next thing we had to do, or next thing in my binder, is major writing assignment 1. We had to answer, how do you feel about the Mbangis? What was your favorite? Which Mbangi lesson can you remember off the top of your head? Which one sticks with you? What did you learn from the Mbangi? We have to present the source. What sources did you use and why? So, I put this class and Mbangi lesson have helped me shape my critical thinking on papers and outside of school lessons. And then I put worldview, deeper thinking, critical thinking. I put radical triangle, social media and references, and communication model. Like, those were the top 3 things that I can remember and know about. And I put learning about Mbangis, learning circles, learning that it is a learning circle, transferring to rhetoric and composition, to the radical triangle, social media references, communication models, to learning how to create references and citing, understanding why it is important and how it will follow you in college and into your field. I put narration, the identity maps. That was my favorite because it was just fun to do. Like, I know myself, so that was easy to do. Yeah. And the next thing I have in my binder is this. We had to read this. It was optional. I did not read it, so that's cool. Maybe I'll read it later when I have time. That's mini lesson 2. I went over that already. Mini lesson 2. We learned about what is academic writing. It's writing that has communicates. It is writing that communicates ideas, information, and research to wider academic community. And I put student, academic, school. The purpose of it is schools to prepare for I can't even talk. Sorry, I put student academic is for schools to prepare for, universities, tutors or professors, and then I put demonstrate learning, expert academic writing for publication in academic journal or book, and then I put other experts in the field, and then create new knowledge. That's the purpose. Sorry. And then we had to know or just remember the features of academic writing, and then it's the little arrows. I put precise, balance, objective, formal, structured, evidence, and critical. And then I put little notes about each item. Like in the essay, you have the introduction, and then the body, and then the conclusion. So the introduction has to include the thesis, and then you have to have the body paragraph. The body paragraph have each topic sentence, and then the supporting details and evidence, or however you're gonna form your paper. And then you have darn, I just forgot. You have the conclusion, and that includes like the summary, and then like the ending of kind of like a wrap up of everything you talked about. And yeah, that's in the conclusion. What else? Oh, you have to have facts, reason, examples, statistic, and citation in a well-developed academic college paper. Precise, include the use of technical, subject-specific vocabulary. So you have to use different vocabulary. It has to be balanced. Academic writing should give consideration to all sides of the issue and avoid bias. Show how strong their claim is. We have to have hedges / boosters. Suggest or could, that's like hedges. And clearly, what is it? No, scratch that. Oh, I forgot. Adjective. Emphasize is placed on the arguments and information rather than just on the writing. And those videos, they were helpful too, that you had linked in some of our assignments. I saved one of the videos. It was the lady, she gave a website on like when you're writing a paper, she listed like terms you could use, like so you won't be saying "and" so much in writing. She lists different I guess transitional words, like just helpful resources for us. So that was good too. But yeah, that was mini lesson 2. That was the next thing that I had in my binder. And then the MLA workshop and resource, when the librarian Deborah George came in, she taught us how to cite and use the library link. We learned the library catalog and Galileo, hope I'm saying it right. This was helpful. I learned Google is not credible. You can find information, but it is not legit. Sometimes anybody can edit most of the information on Google. The difference between the librarian highlight is you can research information specifically on the program of study that you are in, or just in general any topic of research. The library put these resources together for us to use because it is a shortcut for us. Regular Google and using your knowledge will have you at a blank brain fog, because I have that all the time. It's real bad. But yeah, that's helpful. It's so much research available. The GTC library and Galileo can be, what did I put? Okay, sorry. It is so much research available in the GTC library, and Galileo can be condensed to help us research better. Scholarly research and professors require that using a website instead of Google cuts down the incorrect information and plagiarism. So that's why this was helpful. And then I put, it is important to use library resources because relying only on free websites for college level research can make you realize that the topic you want to research about can become unresearchable. You can have interest in a research topic and realize that Google doesn't give you the credible or useful research. The research that becomes, and then the research become biased. The library resource is important to use because it shows you how to recognize terminology. It's good for you to use terminology and practice for the future, especially if you are in any healthcare field. This resource is helpful for us because it is not as stressful For us to create a research paper properly, the website is there for us to brainstorm and research topics, ideas, and get started on a paper easily. It's our academic Google with no ads or commercials. So yeah, this was helpful. I liked when she helped us learn about that resource. And that's relevant because I'm not sure if we will have to do research papers like coming up, but it's there to use when we need to look up something. And that's relevant because, and my next thing in my book was compare and contrast. We had to do that assignment. It was, what is media bias? How does media bias work? Discuss how it can shape public understanding of major events. Explain all sides media bias chart. For this one, I put any discussion of media and its effects in the issue of bias, especially as it pertains to news coverage. Bias is a form, and it is often subtle prejudge that can appear in information that purports to be objective. Media often instructs the public about what their opinion should be. And then I put, for examples, I put radio shows, news stories, and columns. And then I put really just never believe one source ever. Sources have different points of views and angles. From my understanding, bias is learning that I said learning. Excuse me. For my understanding, bias is a leaning that may aim to influence judgments in unfair manner. So that is prejudged. Media bias works when news outlets allow certain preferences, viewpoints, or corporate intersects to shape how they select, frame, and present information, rather than simply reporting facts objectively. Bias influence public perception by favoring specific narratives or opposing perspectives. Oh, I can't talk. Okay, then we had to explain the media. Okay, then we had to explain the media, all sides media chart. So they have left lean, center, lean right, and then right. And then they have different news sources listed on the chart. Hold on one second, I can show you. So here's the chart. This is left lean, center, lean right, and right. So we had to use this chart. We choose the different news sources. We had to use this chart to we had three radical analysis. We could have used the Epstein file. Donald Trump posted a video of Michelle and Barack Obama being portrayed as monkeys, or ICE shooting and killing of Alex Preddy. So we had to describe like different perspectives of like the covering of the story, and then we had to compare mainstream's media approach, differences in tones, focus or audience engagement, must have 3 different viewpoints, analyze how different segments of society are responding, basically evaluate the media and get different perspectives on the chart. And we had to create that in a video. So that was that assignment. We learned that media bias shapes public understanding by dictating which events are covered, agenda setting, how they are situated, and which details are emphasized by this. And then the key factors of mechanism, agenda setting and story section, framing and spin, source and expert selection, and confirmation of the bias. That's how it's like the steps of the news source getting out to the media, to us. So we had to go over that and do that. The next thing in my binder is religious rhetoric, and this is religious rhetoric explores the intersection of faith, language, and persuasion within religious and spiritual contexts. It examines how radical strategies are used to shape beliefs, community, and influence social behaviors, both written and outside religious institutions. By analyzing the way rhetoric can affirm, challenge, or manipulate faith-based narratives, students will develop a deeper understanding of how religion intersects with culture, ethics, and power. And then we had to read the chapter Prayer Won't Fix This by Daniel Black. And we had some terms, research we had to do, guy name. It is one of the most famous Adakira symbols of the King people of West Africa. What else? Some more definitions. They're trying to bait you, not debate you. Dr. Daniel Black, confirmation bias. What else? Oh, voodoo practice in Catholic Church. Consider researching how ancient practice appears in Catholic Church. We did an activity in our last class too, like going over this in Bongi. Basically how okay, when discussing faith-based topics, it encounters logical fallacies. Basically, we went over confirmation bias, the circle of reasoning, and false information, or false, not false information, detecting lies. So in this emboggy is like important because we go over why like when someone is trying to bait you rather than debate you, their goal is to provoke an emotional reaction by withholding the anger, defensive, or over explaining response. They want you to control them. They want control over the conversation. And the last in Bongi, that's in the binder is cult rhetorics and detecting lies. Why we went over this is because cult rhetorics, it investigates the language and strategies used to create, sustain, and manipulate group dynamics within cult-like structures by analyzing how rhetoric is employed to establish authority, reinforce social norms, and control narratives. This model reveals the psychological and social manics behind cult operations. A student will explore the impact of persuasion, collective memory, and pseudo historical narratives, and individual and group behavior through critical analysis. This model, I don't know, it's cut off. Some learners with tools to recognize manipulation rhetorics and to understand the broader, I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay. So this Mbongi was based off of folkway and norms. Folkway is not strict enforcement, and then mores is like against society values. Confirmation of bias, facts and evidence, evidence we ignore, our beliefs, evidence we believe, traits of those with the Dunning-Kruger effect, lack of critical thinking, the ego, what else? Difficulty accepting feedback, poor communication, and then down to the communication models, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all of that. And then this gives us a definition and understanding of what are logical fallacies. Logical fallacies are errors in reasonings that undermine the logic of an argument in any discourse, where you are trying to support a statement with logic and evidence. Avoiding these pitfalls will improve the strength of your argument. So in a valid argument, valid premises support the conclusion. Faulty arguments occur when the premises are incorrect. In the example above, not all games are won that way. If you were playing Uno, the winner of the game would be the one who scored the fewest points overall. Faulty arguments can occur also. Faulty arguments can also occur when the conclusion does not follow the premises. Example, cats are very good pets. Penny is a good pet. Therefore, Penny is a cat. And then it just went over false calls, slippery slope, bandwagon, begging the question. So circular reasoning. Circular reasoning is making a claim and then arguing for the claim using statements that are the equivalent of the original claim. Then it has an example. Napier is the most beautiful country because it has the prettiest landscape. And another example is what we went over in class. It's like religion, Christianity. Oh, you have to what's an example? You have to read the Bible. If you don't, you will go to hell. Or if you must read the Bible. If you don't, you will be struck by God or something like this. I feel like that's an example. And then another thing on here is false dichotomy, evading the issue, red herring, argument from ignorance, composition, division, and then we had to fill out this chart. This is helpful. I'm gonna keep this. I took pictures of it in my phone. And then I did research on it. Okay. So in class we went over cult, radicals, and detecting lies. In class we went over, you were saying that rhetoric is used to support lies. Radical claims are always used to support lies and are all within that lies are always steeped in logical fallacies. So in religion, media, and people of authority. And then that's where social norms come in. So for the definition, I put social norms are unwritten rules, shared beliefs, and behavioral expectations that guide how we interact within a community. They regulate everything from etiquette to moral codes, and as the invisible the invisible glue that holds social groups together, minimizing uncertain. So basically, social norms are they're unwritten rules that that society has. So in future classes that we're gonna have to take, I think psychology, we're gonna have to learn about like the behaviors of the social norms. So for one that we did learn, I think is so like for you to be normal, like, or like you cannot what's the word, deviate, I forget the word, but you can't like be different than others in a line, if that makes sense. So for example, folkway is like anything that the folks say, and it's like if you don't be normal, it's like it's wrong. I hope that makes sense. That's what I got from that. So not to get off topic of the Mbangi, but we did research on the definitions on the terms, and this was helpful because we need to critically analyze this module. Learners with tools to recognize manipulation, rhetoric, and to understand the broader society implications of cult-like dynamic in both historical and modern context. So that's why this is important and relevant. And then here's my resume, my old resume. I just circled we can have an email on there, but it cannot be a personal email. We just really need a professional summary on there. List jobs. Don't put the dates on there. Or maybe you can. What else? No personal information, no address, no phone number, city, state, stuff like that. So now I know how to make a professional resume correctly. And then in the back of my binder is just notes that I took throughout the class. We learned ways to read critically and accurately. We created a guide, preview the text, annotate. We know how to outline, summarize, and analyze writing. Look for patterns. We look for context, allusion, compare and contrast, and then you link videos for us. I saved the majority of those videos for writing guides in the future. I think I'm supposed to take one more English class, but I don't know if it's required. It's English 1102, but for right now, no, in my fall semester, I'm going to take Math 0911 and Math 1111, and then Introduction to Psychology. So that's what I'll be doing. And then this note is Ethos, Pathos, Logos, Persuasion Techniques. And then I'll just basically go over ethos is persuasion through tone, trust, respect, and credibility. Pathos is emotion, passion, and imagination. Logos, from my understanding, is logic, reason, and evidence. So yeah, I know about that. Outlines. What else? Oh, knowing about disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. This information is false, harm, I put, for example, make money, cause problems, influence. And then for my examples for misinformation, false content, person doesn't realize, people want to feel connected. Malinformation, I put shared to cause harm. This is based off of the media. Groups are called informative. What did I put? Discard that. I don't even know what I put right there. X that out. So yeah, I had a bunch of notes. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over the mission of the school. I never read it out, and I'm actually just gonna show it on the screen and read it. And I'm gonna explain why it's relevant to this course. I'm gonna explain why this course is relevant. And I went over what I learned. I went over each assignment. How was Bloom taxonomy used throughout the course? So I'm going to go over question 5, 6, 7, and 8 together. So let me do that. Okay, so here I'm on the website, and then I just I searched the mission and vision. So the mission and purpose, it says advance the knowledge of individuals to enrich lives and develop workforce opportunities. Gwinnett Tech, a unit of the Technical College System of Georgia, is a public two-year college that serves the communities of Gwinnett and North Fulton by offering campus and distant learning for associate degrees. Okay, so diplomas and certifications in credit programs, as well as for adult and continuing education training. So course competencies, we write and analyze and practice. We revise, research, and then it just says read essays and articles and determine the methods of development. Write essays based on personal experience, observation, and or assigned readings. So we did that. Revise, demonstrate the ability to edit writing to elevate Jaguar choppiness, dullness, and incoherence to produce a smooth, vivid style appropriate to the subject and the audience. Demonstrate the ability to proofread writing to eliminate sentence structure errors, verb and pronoun errors, punctuation errors, and spelling errors. And then course and then we did research. So we locate and use appropriate reference materials for written and slash oral reports. Produce a research paper while using the appropriate formatting and documentation style. So we did that in all three, and we learned how to do just get familiar with being on camera with videos. And oh yeah, I also learned how, like, before I wanted to just do content, but I just never did. But now I know how to do it. I know how to do during one of the assignments I learned how to do voiceovers and stuff. So it's pretty easy. I like it. So for the ending, I put rhetoric and composition are important because we learn in Bongis, and they teach us how to communicate clearly, think critical, and make us better writers. Overall, we analyze audience arguments and reflect purpose. Every assignment is relevant to the course description and course competencies. And I put this is relevant to the course because we are not just learning about grammar and literature. We are preparing ourselves for college, work, and knowledge in our everyday life. We wrote our description essays, learned how to communicate properly with our student emails. We created professional resumes so we can present them in the future. This is relevant because we are preparing our pathway to our career. And then I put everything we have learned in this class has taught us how to recognize when others are trying to persuade or influence us. Learning about bias and logical fallacies is important and overall reflected in every Mbangi. It is important because it teaches us how to recognize when an argument is emotion, misinformation, or faulty reasonings instead of evidence, which is relevant to all Mbangis, especially the last Mbangi that talks about detecting lies. So for number 7, how was Bloom's anatomy used throughout the course? We're learning into something bigger. We talked about this. So here's the Bloom's taxonomy paper. This is to Bloom argued that our brain learns things in stages of organizing information. The table shows the table shown will help you better understand how you learn information in your classes. These stages outlined in the table are designed to build on each other as you continue to learn information. So we got remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Remember is recognizing and recalling facts. Understanding what the facts mean. Applying the facts, rules, concepts, and ideas. Analyze, breaking down information into competent parts. Evaluate, judging the value of information or ideas. Create, combining parts to make a new whole. So I'm gonna use this in my next classes that I have, and outside of school. So with work, it's just like remembering how to do your job, understanding your job because you're getting paid to do it. What else? You have to apply the rules. In order to keep a job, you have to follow the rules, analyze, breaking down information into competitive parts. So yeah, this is like steps for a job as well. And now I'm on the last step. It says at the very front of your binder, include a framing document that details all aforementioned questions and what you plan to do after the course is over. Include a paragraph arguing why there is a need for this course. The goal is to argue the need for the course, not its removal. So I put after this course, I plan to attend fall semester at GTC. I will take Math 09 and 11, Math 11 and 11, and Introduction to Psychology. I plan to take all prerequisites first. There is a need for this course because this course teaches you how to prepare and write papers, MLA, and APA college papers. This class teaches you how to properly find resources and cite. We prep and create videos. We use different forms of communication. This course teaches you how to prepare, to be prepared for our pathway of success in college. This class teaches us how to overcome the fear of the blank page and to express our inner selves. We don't silence our inner critic. We prep and create videos, so we use different forms of communication, like I just said. And yeah.